Hi, welcome to Introduction to Java Programming using MySQL. In the previous sessions, we installed MySQL and also ran MySQL Workbench and MySQL Shell. So we also executed several select statements on top of the Sakila database and tried to retrieve data from actor table. Now it's time to jump into IntelliJ IDEA and then write down several lines of codes in the Java programming language to connect to MySQL using MySQL JDBC driver. So let's get started. Now I am in IntelliJ IDEA, so I would like to create a new Java project to connect it to MySQL. Let's get started here. So I'm gonna click on new project here, and then I choose the Java project as the new project in the left side, and then I call this project PRJ Java Database 2 because I have already created one with the name Java Database 1. So PRJ Java Database 2. So I'm going to use IntelliJ here as the build system. There are like other build systems such as Maven or Gradle, but we are not going to touch like Maven or Gradle to create the project, but we are going to add a library using Maven. I'm going to teach you how to do so. So let's create our project using IntelliJ build system. So, and then as you can see here, I use JDK version 11. You can use any JDK version that you prefer. I prefer to use JDK version 11 or OpenJDK 11.0.19. So then I choose, I click on create. Now that we are in the PRJ Java Database 2, we have to make this project ready to connect to MySQL. In order to do so, you see the name of the project is here. So we're going to right click on the name of the project, and then you need to scroll all the way down, and as you can see here, you can find open module settings, or you can simply press F4 to access this window. So when you scroll down or press F4, open module settings will pop up, and then you need to go in the project settings. You go to libraries, and in the libraries you see there is like a plus button here which shows new project library. We need to add a new library here, so we click on this plus button, and then from new project library we choose from Maven. We want to add like the jar files or the libraries that are available from Maven. So we click on from Maven, and here in the Maven we need to enter the following string. So we simply say MySQL connector Java. So, and then we basically try to search for MySQL connector Java driver. If you can search for it, or you can click here to see if there are any drivers here, or you can simply click on search, and when you click on search, it will show you all the versions that are available here for you. So make sure that you download the latest version for yourself. I think the latest version should be this one, Java 8.0.30, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the latest driver here. So I'm gonna use MySQL -MySQL connector Java 8.0.30. So this is the this is the driver that we are going to use. And also I would like to download this to the library folder. This is it will create a library folder here in the left side, in the left pane here. So I would like to include it into this project. So you may just uncheck this if you don't want to. So I do want to download it into my project inside the library folder. So then I click on OK, and then again OK, and as you can see here, it will add MySQL connector Java 8.0.30.jar file and another jar file. So it will include two jar files for you. So then in that case I press apply and then OK. So when I press apply and OK, you see a new folder, lib folder has been added here, and it includes the 2 jar files that you have seen in the previous window. Now we have the required libraries. So what are we gonna do? We are gonna let's say go to the SRC, right click on SRC, new Java class. So I would like to call it Java database. Let's call it Java database class. So this is the class Java public class Java database, and before we can use, let's say, public class Java database, it's good to import a few number of classes and interfaces using java.sql package. So in that case, I'm gonna import not java.sql.star, but specifically java.sql. For example, connection, because I need connection. Also, I need to have java.sql.DriverManager, and also I need to have java.sql. Here I need to have like SQL exception for exception handling, and also I need to have java.sql.statement. So import java.sql.statement. So I've got like 4 classes and interfaces to use. So then I'm gonna define my public class Java database, and inside public class Java database I would like to have my main method. So inside main method I'm gonna start creating my connection. So I say MySQL connection parameters, MySQL connection parameters, and then I can simply say that a string and then URL. So I'm gonna use JDBC :MySQL localhost 3306, and then 3306, and instead of Java at the end I need to add the name of the database that I have in MySQL. So I promise you to use Sakila, so I'm gonna use Sakila as the name of the database here. So then semicolon, so that would be my URL, then a string user should be root, because I have created my root, and then also I should have password, and my password is of course root, if you remember from the previous videos. So now I have my string URL, I have my string user, and I have my string password. So I have all of these 3 things in my code. Now we need to use the first connection. As you can see here, the first connection interface. So connection is a public interface that extends java.sql.wrapper and also auto closable. So this is an interface. But what does this do for you? It is a connection, or it is a session with a specific database. So if you really would like to connect to any type of database management systems, you need to let's say use the connection interface. In that case, I would like to connect to a MySQL, so I'm gonna use connection. So I say connection, and then let's say con, or I can also simply say that like connection, and then initialize it with the null value. And also the second thing that I'm gonna use is a statement, and then after a statement equal to null. So I'm gonna initialize it also using the null value. Now it's time to use the try, the try block. I would like to include a try block here to include the code that can establish the connection to the MySQL database. So I say establish the connection. So this is the comment part, and then I say connection, and then I can say connection is equal to. Now it's time to use DriverManager. I use DriverManager dot, and then I can use, let's say for the DriverManager I can use get connection. So for the get connection, then it's time to include the URL, comma URL, comma user, comma URL, comma user, comma password. So these three variables that we have created here, for example, before this slide. Now let's see what's wrong here. Driver manager dot get connection URL, and then the value should be stored in oh yeah, this is the issue with, like, most probably this is the issue with the try and catch. So let's just also put the catch here. So this was like, because I have opened the try block, but I forgot to add or include the catch for that specific try. That's why it shows me something like error messages here. Now, as you can see here, there is no error message anymore. So DriverManager.get connection URL, user, and password, and the DriverManager. If I put my mouse on top of the DriverManager class here, or on top of the DriverManager class here, look, it is inside java.sql package. It is a public class. What does it do? The basic service for managing a set of JDBC drivers, So this is basically includes a set of JDBC drivers that we are going to use. In our case, we are going to use the JDBC driver for MySQL for localhost, using these 3306 as the port number for the database Sakila. Now, after creating the connection, we have to use the statement. So we say a statement, connection.create a statement. So in that case, we can create our statement. Once we have created our connection, it's time to create our statement. So we say connection.create a statement, and then let me show you create a statement. What does it do? Create a statement is an abstract. Create a statement is an abstract method, as you can see. So it is an abstract method, and it will return java.sql.statement. So the output value from create a statement abstract method is java.sql.statement. And it also, of course, throws java.sql.sql exception. What does it do? Creates a statement object for sending SQL statements to the database. So if you really would like to send any SQL statements to the database, you can, for example, use this create a statement to send the SQL statements into the into your database. In this case, Sakila is our database, and in this case, I would like to to use a select statement to send our query into our database. All right. So far we have created like also our statement. Now it's time to because now it's time to include the select statement, but before that I would like to have a header on top of the result. So I would like to have the header on top of the result. So in that case, maybe I can say system.out.println not connected. I would like to include the metadata, or the metadata that we have, for example, in our actor table. So in our actor table we have actor underline ID. We have actor active underline ID. We have first underline name, and also we have last underline name. So these are like the metadata that we have available in our actor table in the Sakila database. All right, so this is the way that we can retrieve, we can include the metadata. Now it's time to execute a simple SQL query. So let's say in that case, I can say execute as a comment, execute a simple SQL query. So there we go. We have a simple SQL query here now, and then we can simply say that string SQL, and then is equal to, and then we can write down our select state SQL is equal to, and then look, it automatically says select, but I would like to make it like with the capitals. So select, then I'd like to return actor ID, first name, and also last name from Sakila.actor. Sakila is the name of the database, .actor is the name of the table. So this query will return, and also from should be with the capital letter. So select actor ID, comma, first name, comma, last name from Sakila.actor table. All right. So now I'm gonna define a var result set. So result set is a variable. So for the result set, I can simply write down that var result set is equal to statement.execute query, and then inside the execute query, I can put the SQL a statement that I have created. For example, here. Look here. This is my SQL statement, and now it's time to execute this SQL statement. So in order to do that, we have already created the statement. You know, we have already created here the statement variable, and then initialize it using our connection. Now we have a statement, and then for the statement we have .execute query, and then this is our query that we have already created. So if you put your mouse on top of SQL, it will show you the value of SQL. If you put your mouse on top of SQL query, it will show you that this is an abstract method. It will return a result. So therefore, as you can see here, I defined like a variable result set. So the output of this query will be stored in the result set. And the result set is kind of like a table, for example, that will be returned from this select statement. Now, let's go a little bit further with our code, and then we need to print the query result. So let's print the query results. So now after doing so, then we can use the while loop in order to to retrieve all the data. So I say result set, and then dot get, for example, actor ID. I think actor ID is of type integer, but we can also print it out as like get a string. So as you can see here, it automatically generated these things for me. Just to make the code a little bit more readable, let me press enter, a few number of enters to make it more readable for you. So in using while loop, we say while result set dot next. This means that if there is like any new value in our result set or in our table, then we say system.out.println result set.get a string, and then the name of the column actor ID. So this means that we want to retrieve the data from actor ID, and then make this is a string. This is the string, so you can concat to a string using the plus. Using the plus character. So you using plus, and then concat it with space, concat it with result set.get a string first name, concat it with plus, concat it with a space, concat it with result set.get a string last name. So all of these will return like actor ID, first name, and last name. So what else do we need to do? I think that should be all. Let's test our connection and our application. So this is like basically the Java application, but let's run it first to see if there are any errors or if I have forgotten anything. No. Look, congratulations. So this is basically the first simple Java application which connects to MySQL database. So look, this is the result of the execution of this application. These are the metadata that I have created here. Do you remember that? So I said that system.out.println, I would like to have the metadata as the first line. So this would be the first line. So actor ID, first underline name, and last underline name. So these are like my metadata, actor ID, first name, last name. And then after that, there is a select statement, select actor ID, first name, last name from Sakila.actor. So it will return only actor ID, first name and last name from Sakila, and then try to execute. And look, these are all the data that you have in the Sakila database. You remember that, right? I'm going to show you this query in the Sakila. So let's just copy this query that I have written here in your in the Java application. So I'm gonna copy this query, go back to MySQL, and then MySQL Workbench, paste it here. So this is like the query in MySQL Workbench. It's better to put it in 2 lines and maybe semicolon. That would be better. Just to select this line, run it. Look, 1 actor ID, the first name and the last name. 2 like the first name, last name. 3 is the first name, last name. And how many do we have? We do have 200. We do have 200 rows. So the actor ID 200 is the last one. Torah temple is the last one. So if we go back to our Java application, if we scroll down here, so we can find out that Torah temple is the latest row that has been fetched from the database Sakila table actor. So excellent. So this is basically the very simple Java application that can help you out to connect to your database and understand what is really going on. I'm going to explain it again one more time. So we have a connection. So in order to connect to a database, you have to use interface connection in a Java application. So you use interface connection to connect to a database. Then you need to have DriverManager. This is the DriverManager. It is a public class. This is the basic service for managing a set of JDBC drivers. In this case, we use the JDBC driver, a JDBC driver to connect to MySQL database. Then we have SQL Exception. SQL Exception is also a public class. As you can see here, it is a public class. It is an exception that provides information on the database access error or other errors. So then in that case, you have try, and then we say SQL exception, and then you can grab any exception that may occur. You can go to your catch, and then you can say e.print stack trace. So now if I use like select one, for example here, and then run the Java application in IntelliJ IDEA. Now, as you can see here, it's going to show me the print stack trace. So it's going to show me the real exception that was occurred. So java.sql SQL syntax error exception was occurred. So then you can realize that, okay, this is the syntax, and then it's going to return some other extra information about that syntax, because the select is a SQL syntax. Now let's do it with ID. So if I just do this with ID, let's see what happens here with the ID. Now in this time it says that SQL syntax error exception. Again, there is a syntax error because actor underline ID, we don't have actor underline ID 1, we have actor underline ID. So if there is any syntax error in your SQL, it's gonna show you, for example, here. But here, if I change it to like root without any password, then it says that java.sql.sql exception access denied for user root @local host. So this means that there is something, it says that using password and then no. So this means that, hey, your password is incorrect, or the password that you have entered is empty, something like that. So you need to, trace these things to find out the issues related to your database. Now, we also have like a statement. A statement is a public interface. It is a public interface that extends java.sql wrapper and also auto-closable. And what does this do? The object used for executing a static SQL statement. So as you can see here, we have the static SQL statement. So I have written it here, static SQL statement. So this statement interface is responsible for executing a static SQL statement and returning the results it produces. So, and also it uses this statement and it will return the results that it produces. And we store the result inside ResultSet, and then we try to use the ResultSet.getString for actor ID, first name and last name, and then try to print out all the values. So let's make it like a string user root and a string password root again, and then this is like basically the output that we have tried to use here in this application. But if in any case, if you would like to apply any condition such as where, for example, actor underline ID is equal to 3, so then this is the condition for us. So we add this into our select statement, and it will only return like only record number 3, not more than that. So this is the way that you can also apply the where clause into our select statement. All right, so that's basically the idea. I'm gonna create another video, and in that video I'm gonna show you how to connect your Python application to MySQL using IntelliJ IDEA. Thank you so much. I hope you have learned a lot of things from this very simple Java application connection to MySQL. Thank you, and see you next time.